Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Temple ISD Board of Trustees for Monday, December 10th. First item of business is to declare a quorum, which we do have. The second item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 3 is public forum. And do we have anybody tonight, Marilyn? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Rayford Brown.
Rayford Brown from Temple, Texas. Last year about this time, the Kallen ISD was trying to take Snoopy's Christmas out of the hallways of the Kallen ISD, one of the grade schools. And the Texas Values sued them in court and enforced the Texas Christmas law. I'd like to kind of preempt that this year, and I'd like to read a little bit about what the Founding Fathers said about the importance of religion to education. We can begin to see that it is not that arguments against Christianity in public schools are fallacious. There are compelling social reasons for making Christianity the foundation of everything that is taught in school. And the framers of the Constitution understood these reasons. The Founding Fathers correctly believed that religion, morality, and knowledge should be taught in public schools. They believed that morality could not be taught without religion, and that without morality, our nation would crumble. The U.S. Supreme Court in 1844 declared that morality could not be taught in government-operated schools without the New Testament. Our entire system of government was based on religion and morality, or as the founders often spoke of them, piety and virtue. There is not a single signer of the Constitution who would have agreed that the Constitution he was signing was intended to give the federal government the power to order municipal schools to remove the Ten Commandments and the Bible. The founders' opinion of the Bible and of its use in schools was clear. Quote, "The great enemy of the salvation of man, in my opinion, never invented a more effectual means of extinguishing Christianity from the world than by persuading mankind that it was improper to read the Bible at schools. The Bible, when not read in schools, is seldom read in any subsequent period of life. It should be read in our schools and in preference to all other books, from the containing the great portion of that knowledge which is calculated to produce private and public temporal happiness." Benjamin Rush, signer of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate that. Item 4, Superintendent's recognitions. A, Jefferson Elementary Military Club recognition.
I'll just make a few comments as they're making their way in. First of all, kudos to the students. We had no idea all 34 of them would show up. So on a Monday evening, so that is fantastic, and that also explains why we're very crowded right now. And many of you probably had the chance to see them during the Christmas parade. They were a really nice feature for the community. So I'm going to introduce Mrs. Pam Demney, the principal of Jefferson, and Mr. Bill Peters, who's not only a fantastic teacher, but he's giving his time to sponsor the first ever, to my knowledge, military club anywhere in the district at the elementary level here at Jefferson Elementary.
Good evening, Dr. Ott, board members, members of the community, and all of my Jefferson parents. This is the second year in which this organization has been at Jefferson. We're very proud of this organization. This is the cream of the crop here tonight. They're very hardworking students. They're excellent citizens, and we have a very strong sponsor, Mr. Peters. He does a very good job. They spend a lot of time early in the morning before school starts to prepare for all of their drills, and they did an excellent job during the parade this year. Mr.
Dr. Ott, ladies and gentlemen of the school board, my name is William Peters. I'm a fifth grade teacher at Jefferson Elementary. We've been running this military club for 2 years now, and I'm proud to say we have 36 members consisting of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. The students you see before you embody the principles of academic behavior and attendance. We monitor all 3 to make sure they stay in good qualities with our club. Our students lead the club. This year I was lucky enough to have 5 students return from last year. They did all the training and all the preparation to get us what you see today. Without further ado, we would like to do our 15-count manual for you, and then we will have our second-year veterans stay behind and show you what our fancy 15-count manual looks like. Cadet Commander, take charge of the unit.
Order, arms. 15-count manual, arms. Dismiss. Ready, run. 15-count manual, arms.
Order arms. Let's try that again.
15-count manual, arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our military club. Thank you for your time.
That was very impressive. Thank you very much. Parents, please feel free, if you want to leave now, you can. You can stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you'd like to leave, this will be, we'll allow extra time for y'all to leave.
You want me to go ahead and announce everybody coming up and out here?
Yeah, I might as
Okay, yeah, and just have them, I just told them, if you wanna just, as they come in, we'll just have them line up. They can kind of walk their picture in the front.
Okay, do you want me to give them their posters and leave?
Yeah, let's see what those are. Because I need that to Mr. Perry.
Item B is recognition of Christmas card artist, Mrs. Parks.
Yes, good evening. We are delighted to be able to present our Christmas card artist for you this evening. We had 6 of our 8 elementary schools that participated in the contest, and tonight we have 12 winners that we would like to present to you. The artwork was overwhelmingly brilliant, and it was a very tough decision, but we are so grateful to these guys as they come forward. So they will have with them a framed picture of their illustration, along with each child is receiving 10 Christmas cards with their own design. So parents, those are coming home. And we also, they will also all receive a poster of all 12 designs to take home with them. And we do have bundles of Christmas cards for sale if anyone would like one. You're welcome to contact our office. And those will be $10 for one of each of the 12 designs. So our Christmas card artist for 2018 are Kale Acosta, 4th grade from Scott, Steve Baca, 4th grade Cater, Nalia Crump, 4th grade Jefferson, Chloe Doe, 4th grade Thornton, Desiree Espinoza, 5th grade Thornton, Shelby Flores, 5th grade Thornton, Courtney Howard, 4th grade Kennedy Powell, David LaQuaria, 4th grade, Ray Allen. Emily Rodness, 5th grade, Thornton. Amando Rodriguez, 4th grade, Thornton. Riley Salwin, 5th grade, Thornton. And Juliana Wade, 4th grade, Thornton.
Could we give everybody a round of applause, please?
Moms and dads, if you want to take pictures real quick, you can. If you want to come. Yeah, there we go.
The Mamarazzi.
Yes.
Okay, so we're at the teachers.
And we also have several of our elementary art teachers here with us this evening, and we could not do this without you, so I'd like to recognize them.
Stand up. Oh, here she is.
Come up here and stand up here in the front. We'll get you your picture. Just a second.
Nellie.
All right. Can Mom get a picture? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, boys and girls. And if you'll come this way, we'll get you your poster as you leave. So thank you so much and congratulations.
This is very impressive, and we appreciate all the work that our students did. Again, if parents would like to leave, you can stay for the rest of the board meeting, but it's your option, and we'll thank you for coming tonight. Item C, recognition of Temple ISD's annual food drive with Gil Holly and Francis Tana. And Mrs. Parks?
Have Mr. Holly and Ms. Matana come forward. forward. And Ms. McKenna, if you want to bring the rest of your team with you, you're welcome to. Temple ISD participates in a food drive every year, and thanks to Mr. Hawley for organizing that effort every year. But this year, we more than tripled the amount of items that were collected last year, and we just wanted to make sure to let you know how much we appreciate each of you, Mr. Hawley, again, for organizing this event for us annually, and for Ray Allen Elementary, because they collected more items than any other school. How many items, Ms. Matana? I've got it just in case. 6,289. Mr. Hawley had it. We're the number of items collected by Ray Allen, and our total number of items collected for the district this year were 12,773. And again, that tripled what we have raised previously. So we just wanted to say a special thank you to you, Mr. Hawley, for all of your efforts in organizing them, and for you, Ray Allen, for your efforts in this drive. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Sure. Again, Mr. Hawley, if y'all will come back this way and just shake hands. Yes.
Again, I also want to thank everybody involved in that. That is extremely impressive to our staff and students. That's really what Temple ISD and our community is all about. Item D, National Merit Commended and National Hispanic Recognition Program, Dr. Jason Mayo.
Board of Trustees, Dr. Ott, thank you for having us. Temple High School recognizes Bryce Richardson as the 2019 National Merit Commended Student. Commended students placed among the top 6% of more than 1.6 million students who entered the 2019 competition by taking the SAT and the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. Congratulations, Bryce Richardson. The Temple High School student recognized as the 2019 National Hispanic Recognition Scholar is Chris Renfro. The College Board recognizes students identified as outstanding Hispanic recognized scholars based on the PSAT and the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test and grade point averages. Congratulations, Chris Renfro.
Item E, recognition of Superintendent's Leadership Award.
Earlier this year, Dr. Ott wanted to create a special award that recognized people that really go above and beyond. And so that culminated in the Superintendent's Leadership Award. And we have given it once this year. But tonight, I'm very pleased that we're giving it twice to two very deserving recipients. And really what the award is about is leadership is the attitude assumed by those with a vision to raise expectations, who are committed to achieving a goal, and whose conviction inspires others through enthusiasm and optimism to reach a common goal. This award really does recognize those that go above and beyond their normal duties to serve a cause greater than themselves. And the first recipient of that award this evening is Mr. Steve Prentice.
ISD, Prentice does. But I do know one thing, it's always handled. I mean, everything is always handled, so we really appreciate it. He is all in when it comes to Temple ISD. So let's give him another round of applause.
And as you shake their hands, I'll read. And just to share a little bit about Steve as he greets our board members, really it's my privilege to present this award to him this evening. He served our district as Assistant Athletic Director for 12 years. That job description in and of itself is one that requires long hours and countless tasks. However, it's the million little things that Steve does above the expectations of the job title that set him apart and make him truly worthy of this recognition. From setting up the ropes for Century Club parking long after the JV games are finished on Thursday nights, to opening and closing all of our athletic facilities, to coordinating all of the training for our physical education teachers, Steve is constantly on the move, ensuring that no details get overlooked. You give 100% each and every day to support all things Wildcat, and you never expect anything in return. So Steve, for your steadfast commitment, unyielding example of servant leadership, and going above and beyond for our students, I thank you on behalf of Temple ISD.
I appreciate Coach Stewart, all his coaches that are here, and Wendy as well. Thank you. And Coach, you're never short of words. Do you want to say anything?
You guys, you probably don't see the ins and outs. Steve, I can't thank you enough for what you do. I mean, we were just talking about it. One of my favorite memories is, it doesn't matter what it is. If it gets handled, Steve probably has something to do with it. We come out there one day and he's running across the field with a plunger because somebody needed a plunger. I mean, never seen him turn down a task, never seen him shirk anything. So, I'm telling you, the day he leaves, I'm out because this place is not run without Steve Prince. Thank you.
How many steps do you think Steve gets in a day? How many steps do you do in a day? Pretty
That's
amazing.
probably a light day. It's my distinct privilege to present the very first student recipient of the Superintendent's Leadership Award this evening to Madeline Ruth Norman. Madeline is a senior at Temple High School, and in the last couple of years, she's become affiliated with the Dressember Foundation, which advocates to put an end to human trafficking. The annual Dressember campaign is a 31-day style challenge where people pledge to wear a dress or a tie every day in the month of December as a conversation starter to bring awareness to human trafficking in our country. Last year, Madeline participated in the Dressember campaign and set a goal to raise $5,000 for the foundation, and she quickly surpassed that initial goal. So this year, she saw an opportunity to bring even greater awareness to the cause that you've so passionately pursued. She initiated a meeting with campus and district administrators to share about her Dressember campaign and to brainstorm ways that the message could be shared with a larger audience. Madeline Ruth made a presentation to the entire Temple High School staff about human trafficking and the Dressember campaign. You also presented to each of the middle schools. In addition, she collaborated with the THS Student Council to promote December 5th as a school and district-wide day to participate in the Dressember campaign. Her passion for and commitment to this cause has been extraordinary. Madeline Ruth foreseeing a need, taking action to meet that need, and going above and beyond to set an example for all of us of the difference that one person can truly make. We thank you.
So Madeline is just a bundle of determination and brilliance. I'm telling you, this is such a great cause, and I could not be more proud that she is the first recipient of this award. She is a fantastic example of a student in Temple ISD. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Item 5 is executive hires. Mr. Palmer? Okay. All right. We'll move on to Okay. Item 6, the board president's report. Item 8, the superintendent's appraisal documentation. Members, you should have a packet in front of you with the evaluation, Dr. Ott's self-evaluation, and also a blank evaluation for your own evaluation of him. Just walk through the different domains that we have on there, and we'll explain a little bit. Domain 1 is board and community relations. Domain 2 is district management. Domain 3 is student achievement. Domain 4 is human resources. And domain 5 is district communication. So you do have Dr. Ott's self-evaluation. You see the blank one here. If you could, please go through and do your evaluation of Dr. Ott and then give the overall rating. And after you've completed that, if you could, please turn it in to Marilyn or myself by a week from Thursday, December 20th. That way, I will have time over this Christmas break to compile them and present a report to deliver here at the January board meeting on our evaluation of Dr. Ott, which we will do in the open forum. So, and also you emailed this document to the board members here shortly too. So you have it electronically, so you can fill it out electronically and email it to Marilyn and myself, or you can just do the hard copy and send it back and I'll pick that up. So I'll be glad to answer any questions, now or later, or is there any questions now? Okay, thank you. Item B is future items discussion. Is there any issues you would like to bring forth for a future board meeting? Okay. Next one is important dates. Dr. Ott.
Okay, if you look in your packet, I'd like to draw your attention to some of the important dates. I do want to start with today, even though this event has already come and gone. As you know, Temple ISD hosted the National Personalized Learning Academy. Is that right? Academy, thank you. Too many words. It was between Google and Education Elements, and we had several districts here from across the state, just to name a few: Frisco, Klein, Round Rock ISD, Dallas ISD, Georgetown, some local ones here, Academy, Salado. It was a really good turnout. Mrs. Myers was actually up here for another meeting, had a chance to walk through and see some of the activities, but it was a job well done by our C&I department. They were really impressed with the facility, but they were, I think, more impressed with our story in Temple ISD and the training that they were able to receive. So it was an opportunity to really feature the school district beyond the local boundaries and across the state. So we very, very proud of our group and what they were able to do today for the district. Tomorrow, December 11th, I'm just going to point out a few of the dates. We have an English Learners Parent Night here at the admin building at 5:30. Also tomorrow night, which isn't on the list, we play Belton, so I want to say that again. We play Belton in basketball here, our girls and boys. Girls varsities at 6:30 and boys at 8 p.m. December 14th, I think this is kind of an interesting thing that we're doing and a good thing that we're doing as part of the CTE program, but we have the Wildcat Pet Spa for the public. So you're able to drop off. I think there's some parameters here too. I think your pet has to have vaccinations, and anyway, you can look at the flyer, but anyway, the drop off is between 7:45 and sounds like they're enrolling in school, doesn't it? 7:45 to 8:15 a.m. and pickup is from 4 to 4:45 p.m. in room 522A at the Career Center. So another opportunity for our students to serve our community out of our new facility. So we're really excited about that. December 14th, the same day, we do have a retirement reception for Robert Herrick, who worked in the warehouse for many years. And that's this Saturday, I'm actually going to be doing a presentation at the Hindu Temple of Central Texas, presenting over the Temple ISD 2025 plan. And as we conclude this semester, this is the last board meeting going into Christmas, if you look at your next page, you'll have all the fine arts activities. Tomorrow we have the Temple High School Choir, holiday gift at First Baptist Church. It's in Belton at 7 p.m., but you'll see there are plenty of activities to celebrate and bring your family to. This past weekend, I had a chance to see the Charlie Brown Christmas production at the high school, and that was very well done. Our students are doing a great job, so there's a lot of opportunities to come out and watch them perform. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ott. Our next item is 7 consent items. Items A through C, 1 through 3. What is the pleasure of the board to hear these all together or individually?
Make a motion to approve them all together.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mrs. Gowan. All in favor signify by saying aye. Like sign, the ayes have it. Thank you. Item 8 is action items, human resources. Onward.
Mr. Palmer had a family obligation this evening, so Mrs. Ward, who was hired not too long ago, you didn't think you'd be doing this, right? Is up here to fill in for Mr. Palmer.
Dr. Ott, Mr. Posey, and Board of Trustees, I have 2 personnel recommendations in the agenda packet and 3 personnel recommendations in the addendum. I would like to point out that Ms. Athena Rose Lee in the agenda packet is a TISD graduate and did her student teaching here, and so we're happy to have her.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Okay. Motion by Ms. Suarez, second by Mr. Gaines. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Like sign, the ayes have it. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Item B, curriculum instruction, Lisa Adams.
Good evening, Dr. Ott, Mr. Posey, Board of Trustees, and we have time to talk about the course catalog. And normally, Ms. Renata Rogers would be here to share this information with you, but she and our team of our Temple group are actually in Dallas today to talk to learn more about the Math Innovation Zone grant that we received. And so we're excited for them to be there and for me to provide this information for you. So in your board packet, you have the changes that are suggested and will be made to the course catalog, both the high school and the middle school one. Just to give you just a little bit of information about those. For visual arts, we've made some adjustments. We've removed visual arts 1 advanced. We have many of our 8th grade students taking advantage of that high school credit at the middle school level, and so there's not that need for that. That class hasn't been heavily applied for when they were registering for classes, and so instead we're going to move that to the 2nd level to make sure those students have that advanced opportunity when they get into high school. We've also had quite a bit of growth in our kitten dance team due to the fantastic work of Ms. Powell, and so we've made some additions to some coursework there. And then CTE, we've had to make some alignments to some of our course pathways, and so for example, insurance operations is just being removed from health science, and it'll maintain in the business pathway. And then we've had some courses that need to be adjusted, or we've had low enrollment, so we've had to make a change there. And then we have the opportunity for our English language development and acquisition course to offer a state credit for our English language learners, and so that's a great opportunity for them to get a state credit for that elective, and so we want to make sure that we offer them the opportunity. Been some changes to the IB pathways as well, and so we've had to make some adjustments there. Do you have any questions about the high school course catalog? No? Okay, middle school. In middle school, we are dropping a beginning band for 8th grade. We have very few students who want to choose to take beginning band in 8th grade, and so instead what we do is we just work with that family and that student on an individual basis to help support that student in acquiring those skills to see if they'd be successful up in the high school level as they transfer to the high school. And then we want to additionally add advanced beginning orchestra. You know, we have a strong group of students taking orchestra in the 5th grade, and so we don't want to push them back into the beginning level, so just offering them the opportunity for an advanced course at the 6th grade level. And we'll be adjusting our college and career readiness class for middle school to the 8th grade to help prepare them for that transition up to the high school, to our wonderful CTE department. Any questions about the middle school one?
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Adams? Okay.
This is not an action item, so I appreciate your opportunity for us to come and share our changes with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. B2, consideration for approval of the affiliation agreement between Don Ringler Toyota and the Temple Independent School District.
Denise Ayres will be coming to present that. She does a fantastic job working with our partners, and so she'll tell you a little bit more about that partnership with Toyota.
Hello, Dr. Ott, Mr. Posey, and trustees. It's great to be with you tonight, and I'm excited to present this partnership opportunity to you. Studies have increasingly shown that partnerships between businesses and education improve the value of education, so much so that partnerships are becoming a primary focus for CTE programs across the nation. CTE programs that have partnerships that allow work-based education enable students to have on-site experiences while still benefiting from classroom instruction. And so today, I'm here to ask you to consider the addition of an additional partnership for our CTE programs. Adding a partnership with Don Ringler Toyota will serve senior level students in our automotive program. A copy of the proposed agreement has been included in your board packet, and I ask you to approve that today.
Is there any questions for Mrs. Ayres? This is an action item.
I move to approve this item.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Kallen, seconded by Mrs. Davis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign. The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Ayres. Item C, Finance Facilities. Mr. Boyd, the public hearing to discuss Temple ISD's rating under the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. And Mrs. Vaden.
Thank you. Good evening, Board and Dr. Ott. I'm here tonight to present to you our annual first financial rating report. This is something we do every year about this time. And the first thing I want to point out about the report is that it's considered a fiscal year 17-18 report, but please note that the data is actually for the year ended June 30, 17. So not the year we just finished and had an audit report on, but the year prior to that. The rating itself consists of 15 indicators, and all of the indicators are designed to be answered yes to receive the points. The first 5 indicators are simply a yes or no answer. If the answer were to be no on any of those 5, we would automatically receive a substandard achievement rating, which we did not have happen, thank goodness. Indicators 6 through 15 are then each assigned a maximum of 10 points, so that the highest possible point rating would be 100 points. You will see on those indicators, they ask several questions. For instance, indicator number 6, I'm not going to go through all these, but I am going to pinpoint a couple of these, is asking about the number of days cash on hand and current investments that are in the general fund. And kind of the goal they're looking for is about 90 days. You'll notice there we did not receive all the points on that. We were at about 34 days. And there's kind of 2 reasons for that. Part of that has to do with timing of payments and requests through TEA. And then part of that has to do with the calculation of operating expenditures for us. That also includes our payments to the tax increment zone. Because you are aware, those expenditures for us are not available for our operations. They are simply flow through. We did actually file an appeal with TEA and tried to make our cause. Unfortunately, they denied that appeal. We did, but we still have the 2 points for that rating, for that indicator. Indicator number 8 is the ratio of long-term liabilities to assets. kind of the simple sort of way you can look at that is basically, does the value of your house exceed the mortgage that you owe or not? And so on that one, we received 8 out of possible 10 points, and you can see that the cutoff there was less than a 0.6, and ours was a 0.66. So we were very, very close on that one. And then the only other one I would like to kind of point out is indicator number 12, and it has to do with over a 3-year period, what is the percent of increase or decline of our student to staff ratio. And so basically they want to make sure that as our enrollment either increases or decreases, that we are adjusting our staffing levels accordingly. And we are, and we have done a great job. Our HR department has done a great job with that, and we did receive the maximum points on that. So I'm here tonight to tell you, and I'm pleased to report that we did receive the superior rating for the district, which is the highest attainable rating that's possible. And then there are additional pages behind this report. The second page is just simply the scores and the ratings that are assigned to each one. And then the last 2 pages are required reporting regarding expenditures by the district on behalf of either the superintendent or the board for either community involvement, for training, or things like that. So any questions?
Any questions from the board? If not, this is require a public hearing. So at this time, I open the public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward now and testify and speak on, for, or against this, please come forward now. Seeing no one coming forward, I close the public hearing.
Thank you. And then
Kallen, can I make a comment? I don't realize how loud this is, or maybe it's my voice. So a couple things. One, we knew of the superior rating for, I guess, 2 or 3 months now, maybe 2 months. And the reason we hadn't brought it before the board is because we were in an appeal process. And the appeal process was not to change the overall rating. It was superior 2 months ago, it's superior now, it's as high as it could be. It was actually to change the number of points that we had awarded. And part of that, quite honestly, is our participation in the tax reinvestment zone. TEA does not really understand our involvement, and they don't really know how to reconcile that. I guess it's probably the best way I can say it, in the first rating system. So I just want to be real clear with the board about that. And then the last 2 things is, one, I want to publicly thank Kent and Kallen and the entire finance department. I think one of the most important things that we are responsible to is taxpayer dollars and being fiscally responsible. And I don't know how many years in a row we have received a superior rating, but they do so much to manage over $100 million budget and do a fantastic job of that. So I want to publicly thank both of you, Kallen, Ken, and your staff for what they do. In fact, everybody's involved with it, but you two are really intimately involved with it. And then the last thing is, as with most things, the State Department is changing the financial accountability rating. We're used to seeing this on the academic side. They change the accountability standards or tests or cut points, or pick one, every year or 2, so it's always a moving target. I'm not sure that they have made these types of changes in some time with the first system. So I've asked Kallen to spend a little bit of time, and you actually have a cheat sheet in front of you. It's a 1-page document that she prepared, and she's going to walk through that. And the reason she's going to talk about it now is because the data entry that happens this year, in fact, the data entry, some of it that happened last year, so they changed the rules after the data's in, right? That will play into next year's rating. So I think it's important for the board to have some information on these changes. So, Kallen, I hope that laid you up for the next piece.
Absolutely, thank you. Like Dr. Wright said, you do have this 1-page summary. These changes will take effect for the fiscal year 1920. So what you just heard was on data from end of year 17. So now we're talking fiscal year 19-20. And in general, instead of the 15 indicators that we previously walked through, there will be a total of 20 indicators. As you see there, the first 5 are considered critical indicators, and just like they currently are, they will either be a yes or a no, and any one of those that you fail, that if the district were to fail, would also fail the first rating. The next 9 indicators are considered solvency indicators, and I will talk through the 2 within here that are actually new. Indicator 6, they will be looking at a 3-year change in fund balance. And the goal is that over a 3-year period, that the decrease to fund balance will be less than 25%, or if at the end of that current fiscal year your fund balance is at 75 days or more, or you hear us talk about 2.5 months. So basically, if our fund balance is at 2.5 months at the end of any given year or more, you would still pass that indicator. If you are, for some reason, using fund balance, it cannot be more than a 25% decrease over 3 years. Indicator 10 will also be new, and this is a comparison of our revenues over a 3-year period, our budgeted revenues to our actual revenues. This is the part, as Dr. Ott mentioned, well, if the indicator is for 19-20 and it's a 3-year average, we just finished year 1, and now we're learning about the indicator. So you finish year 1, the year we're in will be year 2, and then next year will be the 3rd year in that average. The last 6 indicators are considered competency indicators. There are 3 new within that section. Indicator 15 is a variance ratio between what our actual enrollment at the end of a given year is compared to a projection that we have to submit to TEA. This is, I think the intent of this is to make sure that TEA is funding us as close to actual enrollment. I think there are some districts that may have added enrollment in order to get some funding from TEA, knowing that in the end there is a settle-up process, but during the year could have created some additional funding temporarily. Indicator 19 has to do with financial postings on our website. This will be determined, as I understand it, based on a report from our independent auditor. This is something we've made an effort to do for a long time, so I feel very confident that we will pass this indicator. And then the last one is indicator 20, and it has to do with a discussion among the Board of Trustees regarding our property values and how they call it a 1-year lag that's in our state funding formula. And so it's just really, I think, to gain some understanding about the timing and the function of how those values actually work within the state formula itself. So that's kind of the summary of the indicators themselves. The minimum passing score will be 70 instead of 60. What I do not know or haven't seen is the specific formulas on some of these to know the exact calculations themselves. And then I also have not seen how the points themselves will be distributed. Obviously, they're not going to be as simple as they were, where each one is worth 10 points anymore. So haven't seen how that breakdown is going to occur. So as we get more information, we will certainly update you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kallen. Any questions? All right, thank you. Appreciate your work.
Absolutely, thank you all.
Mr. Posey,
Yes.
may I also just say I appreciate what Kallen does. We all work on this together, but no one is more responsible, and no one does more. No one does near as much on it as Kallen does, and she does a magnificent job, and just very appreciative of her dedication to our district, her dedication to doing the right thing all the time. and just her hard work and the way that she handles her business. So I want to say thank you also.
Thanks. Okay. Item D, Student Services, Eric Haugeberg. Got it? Okay. All right. E, Board Committee Reports. One is Facilities Committee Update. Mr. Gaines?
Thank you, Mr. Posey. Held Thursday, November the 29th. In item A, we discussed properties. The committee discussed the potential acquisition of 2 properties and proposal residential development near Kennedy Powell. And there'll be further discussion on that later. THS Auto Tech update. Bids for the Auto Tech project were originally received in September. The team has been actively exploring options to get the costs more in line with the budget. The proposal GMP of $3,369,045, which was approved in a special meeting. That was an earlier board meeting to approve that. THS Fine Arts update. Bids for the Fine Arts project has been received and pricing is still being analyzed. The team is examining value engineering and redesign options to get the cost more in line with the budget. The GMP will not be ready for consideration until in January of next year. The Swim Center update, the administration recently met and with parents to solicit input for the Swim Center. The team will also bring a consultant in to analyze the pool infrastructure. Scott Elementary update, at Scott, the interior and exterior wall framing and drywall installation is complete, and the existing classroom wings. Grade beams for the new addition are complete, and concrete slabs have been poured. The project is on schedule. Western Hills update, Phase 1 of work of Western Hills is almost complete. Reallocation of classrooms to the area will occur over the Christmas break. The project is on schedule. Meredith Dunbar update, planning and discussion for the project for Meredith Dunbar project. The team will meet with the campus administrator soon to discuss overall project scope and timelines.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gaines.
No, I still got it.
Oh, you still got some more? Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I apologize. I'll get through it fast.
Hey, no.
Travis Science Academy update. The Travis project continues to experience weather delays at the point the concrete slabs and steel framing for the dining additions is complete. Lamar Middle School update. Bids for Lamar Middle School project were received in early November and the pricing was very close. The bid targets, the team will propose a GMP of $14,198,253, which were presented and approved at a special board meeting to follow. We've already approved that. Facilities usage guidelines for the new administration building. The administration will be developing facility usage procedures for the meeting space in the new building here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gaines. Item 2 is Policy Committee update. I know the November 28th meeting was canceled. Mrs. Davis, is there one here in December?
The proposed meeting for December is the 19th, and it is tentative.
Okay.
At this point.
All right. Thank you. All right. B is Board Meeting Policy Review. Mr. Haugeberg.
Good evening. Tonight's board policies will review ethics, conflicts of interest, technology resources, and communications. We'll start with BBF Local, which is a list of ethical standards. And as a board member, you're expected to promote the best interests of the district and adhere to the listed ethical standards. We're not going to go through each one, but some themes that are embedded throughout the list are stewardship, integrity, commitment, and student-centered focus. BBFA Legal deals with substantial interest and conflict of interest disclosures. This section can be confusing because it combines language from the federal government code, the state government code, the local government code, the education code, and the penal code. And these things can be consistent, but they can also be inconsistent, or they can refer to the same thing but be called something different. But in general, as you read through it, the goals of this policy are to protect the district's transactions and to provide transparency. First, if a board member or family relation has a substantial interest in a business or real property, and let's back up and give a few definitions as they're defined in law. One is substantial interest with business entity. That's if you own a greater than 10% of a business or $15,000 or more, or you receive 10% of your gross income from the business. For property, substantial interest means you own $2,500 in the property. More definitions discuss family relationships. And one of the great things about policy is all the obscure facts and definitions that you can learn and that are just fantastic cocktail party conversation pieces. And here are two that you can use as you see fit. One is consanguinity, which means related by blood, and affinity, which means related by marriage. And a board member's substantial interest is extended to the first degree of affinity and the first degree of consanguinity. In other words, meaning your spouse, parents, children, your in-law parents, or your in-law children. So if a board member or immediate family member has substantial interest in business or real property that is doing business with the district, they need to take certain steps to disclose this interest. First, by filing a substantial interest affidavit with the district, and second, by abstaining from voting on the matter and participating in deliberations. Violations don't render the action of the board void unless the vote would not have passed if that vote of that person wasn't taken. And violations do carry the penalty of a Class B misdemeanor. Next, conflict of interest statements for board members and their families are connected with vendors who do business with the district. There are 3 categories that require disclosure. If the vendor does business with the district, board members must disclose 1, income if it's over $2,500 per year. 2 is gifts if they're over $100. And 3, the family relationships within 3 degree by blood and 2 degree by marriage. This conflict of interest form is the CIS form, which is in your board member packets, and it comes directly from the State Ethics Commission and is required to be posted on our website. And these are posted under the purchasing tabs as you go through our website. Also, as part of the district's financial management report, the first report that we just had, the report of board members' gifts and business transactions with the district must also be included. And those were the last 2 pages of the report that Ms. Vaden discussed. And the BBFA local companion to this legal policy states that board members must provide this information in a timely manner. Everyone's particular situation is unique, so if you have any specific questions, please contact Dr. Ott and we'll do the best to answer those for you. The next policy, BBF, Be Legal, highlights prohibited practices of public servants, of which board members are included in that. Board members cannot confer, agree to confer on another, solicit, accept, or agree to accept a pecuniary benefit for the recommendation or for a vote. And this is the legal definition of bribe. Also, board members cannot accept illegal gifts, but acceptable gifts include gifts from family, from personal friends or business colleagues not related to the work of the district, items of a value less than $50, or food, lodging, transportation, and entertainment accepted as a guest, such as going to dinner at an event sponsored by a vendor at a conference. Those are acceptable gifts. With Bell County having a population of over 35,000, all nepotism laws apply. In other words, generally speaking, someone related to a board member by blood within 3 degrees or by marriage within 2 degrees cannot be hired by the district until the member's replacement has been sworn in. BBG legal and local policies states that board members serve without compensation. Board members can be reimbursed for travel if it's necessary in the conduct of the district and serve in the public interest, such as those reimbursables that occur while attending meetings or conventions when serving as an official representative of the board. But travel expenses for spouses and other persons are not reimbursable. BBI legal and BBI local relate to technology, resources, and electronic communications. Electronic communication between board members about district business can only occur on a properly set up online message board. Basically, this is an online message system that's real time and open to the public. And even with today's technology, I know of very few districts that have ventured into this. And maybe it'll happen in the future, but not in the near future. We'd like to make a note about emails for board members. Any district interest deliberation between a quorum of board members falls under the Texas Open Meetings Act requirements. And such, there's a posting in advance requirement as well as being open to the public. An email between 2 board members is not part of the Open Meetings Act, but you need to be careful. For instance, when the district sends an email to all board members and related to district business, make sure that you don't hit comment on it and hit reply all, because that communication would be classified as a quorum and would violate the Texas Open Meetings Act. And then lastly, board members are permitted to use the district's technology resources on a limited basis for personal use if it has no cost to the district and does not unduly burden the resources or network, such as checking your email on the Chromebook during a riveting policy review portion of the board meeting. That is allowed under local policy. Any questions?
Any questions? Interesting information. Thank you. Yeah.
And an interesting presentation.
Yes.
Very thorough.
Right. On that note, there being no further business, we're adjourned. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year's. This will be our last meeting of 2018, and our next regular board meeting will be in January 2019. Thank you very much.